In this lecture, let us try to understand the spectrum of angle modulated signal, because it is through the spectrum we will understand what is the bandwidth requirement. Okay, so if once we know the spectrum of the signal, then it is very easy for us to calculate the bandwidth. That is the first thing you will like to understand as a communication engineer. Okay, so what is the bandwidth requirement if I go for FM signal, and what is the bandwidth requirement if I go for PM signal? To do that, I must understand what the nature of the spectrum is. So let us look at these issues. And of course, the other parameters which is of interest is power requirement. First, let us finish this spectrum of the angle modulated signal. And the first difficulty that we must note is that unlike the AM signal, the frequency modulated and phase modulated signals in a way are non-linear modulation. Okay, so we appreciate this, that is they don't satisfy superposition principle, but the amplitude modulation does, particularly DSB with carrier, that means DSB AM. This is linear modulation, it satisfies the superposition principle. So, frequency modulation and phase modulation are non-linear modulations. Okay. And because these are non-linear modulations, the exact spectrum calculation becomes very difficult. It is not like your amplitude modulated signal, okay, because the message signal is dependent on the modulated signal through the argument of the cosine wave. So, this is highly non-linear function. Cosine of some m of t or cosine of some integral of m of t, both are highly non-linear function, right. If you recall, for PM, what is your modulated signal? X of t is equal to a times cos of omega ct plus kp times m of t, right. For a frequency modulated signal, your x of t is equal to a times cosine of omega ct plus 2 pi kf integral of minus infinity to t m of s ds. Okay, both are highly non-linear function. So, the spectral analysis now becomes very difficult. So, exact spectrum calculation, at least for the general case where the modulated signal amplitude is something arbitrary, is rather difficult. So, this was not the case if you remember for the case of amplitude modulation. Exact spectrum calculation rather difficult. Difficult for general message signal. Okay, but what happened in AM? It's simply frequency translation, which is of course one of the main objectives of modulation. It has to carry out the frequency translation. Here also we are doing the same thing. Okay, so we are doing the frequency translation by choosing a carrier of some frequency fc. We are carrying out the frequency translation, even in frequency modulation also and phase modulation also. But whereas in the case of amplitude modulations of all kinds, you are essentially carrying out frequency translation. Okay, this is something more than that, because you are modifying the spectrum of the modulated signal in a rather complicated manner, and the complicated manner is not possible to understand when the message signal m of t is some arbitrary signal. So when the message signal is like an arbitrary signal, then it's rather difficult to understand. However, it is possible to do this calculation for a very simple case, and we will study that case only at that moment. Okay, you choose the message signal just for the sake of study, okay, to be pure sinusoid. So m of t is equal to a pure sinusoidal signal, let's say cos omega mt, a times cos omega mt, like that. So possible to do this calculation, I mean possible to study this spectrum when m of t is equal to am times cos of omega mt, and this is a very simplest form of message signal. But by understanding this, you understand a lot about what happens to the spectrum of the FM signal. So possible to study spectrum when m of t is am cos omega mt. Otherwise it is very difficult to study its spectrum when the input signal is an arbitrary signal. Therefore first try to study the behavior of the spectrum of FM signal or the PM signal when the modulating signal has a simple form like this, am times cos omega mt. Okay, so we know that in general the modulating signal will not be of this kind. Okay, we never use cosinusoidal signal to modulate. Okay, what is the purpose of modulating a cosinusoidal signal and transmitting? What is the use? Nothing. It is after all a signal which is generated in the lab. Okay, so no use at all. Okay, so we will be interested in transmitting speech waveform or video waveform or whatever you have. Okay, so whatever the results that we are now deriving here, that will be directly applicable to your speech signal or video signal or whatever it is. So still you will have intuitive understanding through this kind of m of t equal to cos omega mt. So we look at that. I will make a more general statement later. Okay, so let's start with that. So let's take m of t is equal to am times cos omega mt. Now if m of what is your so this is my signal. Now m of t is equal to am cos omega mt. So therefore directly this signal becomes your x of t becomes a times cosine of omega ct plus kp am times cos omega mt, right? Now what about the frequency modulation? Maybe I'll write down here separately. M of t is equal to, let us write down first Pm, am times cos of omega mt, then your x of t is equal to a cos, let's say a suffix c, a cos omega ct plus kp times m of t, ac cos of omega ct plus a kp times am times cos omega mt. This is your phase modulation. Okay. Now what about the frequency modulation? Frequency modulation, again same message signal, m of t is equal to am cos omega mt, and then your x of t is equal to Okay, so this is your modulated signal x of t. Oh my god. Okay, so I need to integrate now, right? So phi of t is 2 pi kf times integral of m of s ds. So 2 pi kf am cos of omega m s ds. So if you integrate 2 pi kf, then am by omega m sin omega m. This is my phi of t. Substitute here. So your x of t is equal to ac cos of omega ct plus 2 pi kf am by omega m. I can write 2 pi fm sin omega mt, right? Now 2 pi will get cancelled. So what can I say this? AC cos of omega ct plus, let me say 2 pi times kf times am. This is called a frequency deviation delta f divided by omega m. Maybe I can write, okay, you can cancel this 2 pi, no problem. This 2 pi and this 2 pi will get cancelled. Then this becomes fm, no 2 pi, then del f by fm times sin of omega mt. Now this I can write as AC times cos of omega ct plus beta times sin omega mt, where beta is equal to delta f by fm. That's it. Okay, where delta f is the product of kf times am, where kf is constant, it is frequency sensitive constant. Similarly, for the case of Pm, we can write like that. Okay, so look at where is Pm. Yeah, in this case it becomes AC times cos of omega ct plus beta times cos omega ct. That's all. Where in this case, let's say beta Pm is equal to Kp times Am. That's all. And here beta Fm is del f by fm. Okay, now let me take this waveform. Your x of t is equal to a suffix c times cos of omega ct plus beta times sin omega mt. So this is my modulated signal. Let me call this as equation number 1. Now, how can I study the spectral properties of this equation 1? Okay, so when I want to study the spectral properties, I need to take the Fourier transform from the time domain signal, right? This is in the time domain, and moreover this is a periodic signal. By the way, is it periodic? No, it is not periodic. If you take alone this time, no, by looking at the waveform you cannot say whether it is periodic or non-periodic. Okay, now we can ask what is the most convenient frequency domain representation that I should go for there. Okay, so you should say Fourier transform. Okay, but Fourier series would be more apt. Why? You could see it is a periodic signal, and that was the reason why I chose the modulating signal to be cosine wave. Okay, now if it is not clear, let me take the complex representation. Okay, you can think of this x of t in terms of complex representation. Therefore, x of t is equal to real part of AC times e to the j of omega ct plus beta times sin omega mt. Now you can rearrange this. Okay, AC times e to the j omega ct times e to the j times beta sin omega mt. Okay, can you see that this portion is periodic signal? Sin omega mt is a periodic function, so e to the j beta sin omega mt is the periodic function, right? Sin omega mt is a periodic function. E to the j times beta times sin omega mt is also a periodic function, but this is a complex periodic function, of course. So I can represent it by Fourier series. So let us try to evaluate Fourier series for this guy, and therefore I can study the spectrum by looking at the Fourier series of this function. Let's do the Fourier series expansion of e to the j times beta times sin omega mt. Fourier series expansion of e to the j times beta sin omega mt. Okay, now you can take Fourier series only if the signal is periodic. Now let me take f of t is equal to e to the j times beta times sin omega mt. Now if the signal is periodic, then only you can take Fourier series expansion. Now how do you find the period of the signal? We said f of t is equal to f of t plus capital T. Now we need to find out what is the capital T value. F of t is e to the j times beta sin omega mt must be equal to e to the j times beta sin omega m t plus capital T. Okay, e to the j times beta sin omega mt plus e to the j times beta sin omega m capital T. So in the left hand side, e to the j beta sin omega mt. Therefore this must be equal to 1. Equal to 1 means what? I need to get this e to the 0, this whole thing becomes 0. When that will be, whole thing will become 0? When sin omega mt is equal to 0. Okay, that means what? Sin omega mt must be 2 pi. So what is your t? T is equal to 2 pi by omega m. So this is the period of the given signal, e to the j beta sin omega mt. Okay, the period is 2 pi by omega m. That's it. Now we can write the Fourier series for this. So f of t is e to the j times beta sine omega mt, and this is my period. So what is a Fourier series? Fourier series is equal to exponential Fourier series. N lies from minus infinity to plus infinity, c suffix n e to the jn omega naught t. Okay, now what is Cn? We can find out Cn from the where Cn is the coefficients of the Fourier series, and it is given by the formula Cn is equal to 1 over your period, right, times integral of minus t by 2 to plus t by 2 e to the f of t e to the minus jn omega mt. The period is omega m, right? So in terms of omega mt and dt. So this is period. What is the period now? Period is 2 pi by omega m. So this becomes omega m by 2 pi integral of minus pi by 2. Minus pi by 2 means it is minus t by 2. Minus t by 2 means minus pi by omega m to plus pi by omega m, and f of t is e to the j times beta sine omega mt multiply by e to the minus jn omega mt and dt. Okay, integrate over the period. What is the period here? Period is 2 pi by m. Therefore it is minus pi by omega m to plus pi by omega m. What is the total period? Pi by omega m minus of minus pi by omega m. This is 2 pi by omega m. That's what we got here. This one, 2 pi by omega m. So the same thing I am dividing here, so it becomes omega m by 2 pi. Now rearrange this. Omega m divided by 2 pi, then integral of minus pi by omega m plus pi by omega m e to the j times beta sine omega mt minus n omega mt and dt. So to simplify this integration, let me put omega mt equals x. So differentiate with respect to t. Dt is equal to omega m times dt is equal to dx. Dt is equal to dx by omega m, right? Now what is the lower limit? Lower limit. When t takes the value of minus pi by omega m, then what about your x? X becomes omega m times minus pi by omega m. So omega m and omega m cancels. Therefore x becomes minus pi. What about the upper limit? When t goes to plus pi by omega m by the same procedure, then x becomes plus pi. So replace these values in the above integration. So omega m by 2 pi integral of minus pi by omega m. The lower limit becomes is minus pi by omega m, that is replaced by minus pi, and the upper limit is pi by omega m, that becomes plus pi, e to the j times beta sine omega mt becomes x minus n times omega mt becomes nx times dx. This is my Cn. That's it. Now look at this expression, this one. So do you remember what this is? You have done it in your math course, I hope. Okay, this is the definition of the Bessel function. Definition of the Bessel function. and we know that Bessel function is denoted by Jn. See, you have the variable n here, so it is denoted by n, and x is a dummy variable. Therefore, the Bessel function is the function of n, and one more parameter in the integration is beta. Okay, don't take x here. X is after all a dummy variable. So your Bessel function is the function of two variables. One is n and another one is beta. So therefore the Bessel function is j suffix n of beta. Okay, and the Bessel function where n indicates order. Bessel function of order n. So it is denoted by Jn, and as I said here x is a dummy variable. So what is the constant here? This beta is the constant. Okay, therefore the parameter of the integral is beta and n, not x. Therefore your Bessel function is the function of n and beta. Therefore your Cn is equal to, maybe I'll write down here, Cn is equal to, wait a minute, I did a mistake. What is dt? Dt equal to dx by omega m, right? Omega m. Now this omega m and that omega m will get cancelled. Okay. Therefore 1 divided by 2 pi integral of minus pi to plus pi e to the j times beta sin x minus nx times dx, and this is defined as, I put a triangle symbol here, this one is defined as j suffix n of beta, Bessel function of order n. Okay, so there is a dependence on n, and that is displayed here. Okay, so the only parameter left out is beta, so that beta is written over there. So Jn of beta, how do you read this? Bessel function of order n. Okay, so this is called the Bessel function of order n with the argument beta. Okay, so these are very well studied set of functions, and its properties are highly documented, readily available in books of mathematics. Okay, so unfortunately you cannot integrate this integration in the closed form. Okay, so this function cannot be expressed in the closed form. It is expressed only in terms of this Bessel function of order n, Jn of beta. So in spite of that, its properties are very well studied by mathematicians. Okay, its values are well documented in the form of table of Bessel functions, Bessel function values. So for different values of beta, you have a table available for like j0 of beta, then j1 of beta, and so on and so forth, for all values of beta. So these are available in the form of tables in the standard text. Okay, you freeze the n value, let's say n equal to 0, then you'll get a j0 of beta, and again change the beta, you'll get a curve something like this, like that. Okay, so what you find is that the nth coefficient of the Fourier series of this is a nth coefficient Cn is nothing but Jn of beta. See, here also n, here also n, and here also n. Therefore nth coefficient of the Fourier series is nothing but the Jn of beta. If you substitute C1, then C1 is equal to J1 of beta. That's what we mean by. So the first coefficient of the Fourier series C1 is equal to J1 of beta. C2 is equal to J2 of beta. C minus 2 is equal to j minus 2 of beta. C minus 1 is equal to j minus 1 of beta. That's it. Therefore, essentially your coefficients of Fourier series reduces to the Bessel function. So what you find is the nth coefficient of the Fourier series of e to the j beta sin omega mt is nothing but jn of beta. So we can come back to our original purpose now. What is our original purpose? X of t is equal to a cos omega ct plus beta times sin n omega mt. Okay, we need to study this equation. Okay, this what did we say? X of t is equal to real part of e to the j times omega ct and e to the j times beta sin omega mt. Now this is we studied by Fourier series. What is the Fourier series for this? Sigma n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity Cn e to the jn omega mt. Now what is Cn? Just now we said Cn is nothing but your Bessel function. Therefore, this I can write sigma n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity jn of beta times e to the jn omega mt. Therefore, this whole thing becomes like this. Okay, therefore, this is real part of a times e to the j omega ct times sigma n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity jn of beta e to the jn omega mt. Now I can take this e to the j omega ct inside the summation. There is not n term here. So it will multiply every term. A times sigma n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity jn of beta e to the j omega ct times e to the jn omega mt. So again I can write a times real part of n is equal to minus n to plus n jn of beta e to the j times omega c plus n omega m times t. So the nth term will be omega c plus n omega mt. Now if I take the real part of this, then it becomes a times sigma n goes from minus infinity to plus infinity jn of beta, it becomes cos of omega c plus n omega m times t. Okay, so this is your x of t, your modulated FM modulated signal. So this is what you get. Therefore, I have obtained a series expansion for the FM signal. Substitute n equals minus 1 plus 1 minus 2 plus 2 minus 3 plus 3 n equals 0. You will get a a series of terms. FM signal, but it is not precisely Fourier series expansion of the FM signal, right? Why? Can you appreciate that? Because the terms they are not harmonics of omega c plus omega m. Okay, if I write Fourier series, then it should be like omega c plus omega m, then 2 times of omega c plus omega m, then 3 times of omega c plus omega m, then you can say it is Fourier series. But here what is the terms here? It is omega c plus omega m, or omega c plus omega m, omega c plus 2 omega m, omega c plus, when n equals 1, 2, this you will get it. When n equals 1 you will get it. When n equals 0 you will get this. When n equals 3 you will get omega c plus 3 omega m. When n equals 4, omega c plus 4 omega m. When n equals minus 1, you will get omega c minus omega m. When n equals minus 2, you will get omega c minus 2 omega m. When n equals minus 3, you will get omega c minus 3 omega m. So these are all nothing but it is not periodic. They are not integer multiple of your fundamental frequency. Therefore, strictly speaking, this is not Fourier series. But which is Fourier series is this e to the j sine. This is periodic function. So you will get a Fourier series. So please appreciate that, because the terms that you are having here, these terms that you are having here are not harmonics of omega c plus omega m. See, these are the harmonics of your omega c plus omega m, but these are not harmonics of your omega c plus omega m, because the terms are here. The terms here are omega c plus omega m, omega c plus 2 omega m, omega c plus 3 omega m, right? The harmonics are coming because of this component e to the j and omega mt. So in any case, it is a frequency domain representation. Okay, this one is frequency domain representation. I have expressed x of t in terms of cosine waveforms of different frequencies. So in that sense, it captures the spirit of spectrum representations. Okay, any frequency domain representation. After all, what is Fourier series? You are expressing a periodic signal, given periodic signal, in terms of more basic signals, which are the sinusoids of different periods. And same thing is true here also. Therefore, your FM modulated signal comprised of frequency components which are present in this series expansion. Okay, so of t is equal to sigma let me put a here, jn of beta cos of omega ct plus n omega mt. That's it. Or if you want, you can take this t to the outside, plus n omega m times t. Therefore, we can say this frequency modulated signal is comprised of frequency components omega c plus omega c plus or minus n omega m, right? Because n is taking plus value as well as minus value. Therefore, the frequency component of x of t is omega c, omega c plus or minus n omega m, where n is going from 1 to up to infinity, 0 to infinity. Okay, and again here jn of beta, it is not a complex, it is a real value. After all, you are integrating, and that integration will lead to a real value. Okay, we will study the properties of jn of beta in the next class. Okay, in fact, I will not study the properties of jn of beta in detail, but I will summarize the properties of the Bessel functions for you. Okay, if you have not done this Bessel functions anywhere, doesn't matter. Okay, so let me summarize the important properties in the next class, which are relevant to our study. Okay, whatever the properties are relevant to our study, that we will enumerate. But we will not go into the study of the Bessel functions. But some of the things that we should know about them, we will summarize that. Whatever is needed, that we will summarize in the next class. So therefore, this equation tells us a few things about the FM signal. What are the things it tells us? First of all, our modulating signal was the signal of frequency omega m, right? Omega m is the modulating signal frequency, I mean message signal frequency. Okay, let us keep our AM for the reference. In the AM, you have a cos omega Ct plus AC AM times cos omega Ct and cos omega mt. Okay, when the modulating signal is a sinusoid of frequency omega m, what was the frequency component in the AM signal? You will have Fc plus Fm and Fc minus Fm and Fc. These are the three components present. In the case of AM, if you remember AM, this is your Fc carrier component, this is Fc minus Fm, and here you will have Fc plus Fm in the negative side minus Fc minus Fc plus Fm minus Fc minus Fm. This one is for AM, like this. Now we will compare this with your frequency modulation. In the frequency modulation, you substitute n equals 0 in the above expression. What will you get? You will get cos omega Ct. Substitute n equals 1, cos of omega C plus omega mt. Substitute n equals minus 1, you will get cos of omega C minus omega m times t. Substitute n equals plus 1, plus 2, cos of omega C plus 2 omega mt. Substitute n equals minus 2, omega C minus 2 omega mt, and so on. So like this, the list goes up to infinity. In the AM modulation, I have only three components: carrier frequency, Fc plus Fm, Fc minus Fm for a sinusoidal message signal. But in the frequency modulation, for a sinusoidal message signal, I have infinite number of components. What are those components? Cos omega Ct, then cos omega C plus omega mt, omega C minus omega mt, omega C plus 2 omega mt, omega C minus 2 omega mt. Right? See, in the AM case, how did you get this? This you can write AC cos omega Ct. This one is cos A cos B formula. AC AM by 2 cos of A plus B. Cos of A plus B is omega C plus omega m times t, plus cos of A minus B. AC AM by 2 cos of omega C minus omega m times t. Therefore, here I have only three terms: the carrier component, upper sideband and lower sideband, USB and LSB in the AM system. This all are, I am talking about AM. The moment if you talk about frequency modulation, how many components do I have in this? Infinite number of components. This is my carrier, first upper sideband, first lower sideband, second upper sideband, second lower sideband, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you will not only have the components of omega C plus omega m and omega C minus omega m, but also omega C plus 2 omega mt, omega C minus 2 omega mt, and so on and so forth. And infinite number of terms are added. You have still two sidebands, right? So upper sideband, lower sideband. In the upper side you have many sidebands, in the lower side also you have many sidebands. So one set of frequency components lying above omega C, the other set of frequency components lying below omega C. This all guys lying below omega C, and this all guys lying above omega c. But each of the sidebands occupies a very large spectral domain. Theoretically, it goes up to infinity. And this is the case when the input contains only a single frequency component. What is that single frequency component? This omega m. So the input signal, your message signal contains only one component, which is omega m, single frequency component. But the spectrum of the FM signal is very different from that of an AM signal. So that is the first thing to learn from this frequency modulation and phase modulation. The additional thing that you will learn from this is that it appears that the bandwidth of the signal is infinity, because in the AM case we said bandwidth. What is the bandwidth? This is upper frequency and this is a lower frequency. You calculate this. This is my bandwidth. Bandwidth is Fc plus Fm minus of Fc minus Fm. This Fc and that Fc will get cancelled, so you will get 2 Fm. This is my bandwidth for AM signal. Now we are asking what is the bandwidth for FM signal. If you try to plot, you have Fc, then Fc plus Fm, then Fc plus 2 Fm, then Fc plus 3 Fm, and keep on goes up to infinity. This side Fc minus Fm, Fc minus 2 Fm, Fc minus 3 Fm, and keep on goes up to infinity, and somewhere 0 will be there. Similarly, in the negative frequency axis also you will be having minus Fc plus Fm, minus Fc plus 2 Fm, and so on. This side minus Fc minus Fm, minus Fc minus 2 Fm, then minus Fc minus 3 Fm, and so on and so forth. So it is very complex if you look at the spectrum of your frequency modulated signal. I think I zoomed out very less. Zoom in. I cannot see. Let me zoom out. Now how do you find the bandwidth? See, it starts from minus infinity and it goes all the way to plus infinity. Therefore, theoretically speaking, the bandwidth of your FM signal is infinity. This is my theoretical value. So, but the beauty is not all the components are significant. Even though the bandwidth of the signal is infinity, but practically it turns out that this function Jn of beta, because this all are multiplied by what? Jn of beta, right? So this guy is multiplied by J1 of beta, and this one is multiplied by J minus 1 of beta, and this one is multiplied by J2 of beta, and this guy is multiplied by J minus 2 of beta, right? So as you increase the value of n, its magnitude decreases, meaning your J1 of beta is higher than J2 of beta, and J2 of beta is greater than J3 of beta, and this all are greater than, J0 of beta is greater than all of these guys. Therefore, as you increase the n value, this Bessel coefficients becomes insignificant. Okay. Therefore, not all the components are significant in this series. A certain number of frequency components are significant, maybe J1, J2, J3 up to J4 or J5, depends on the beta value. Okay. Now one should ask a question: up to how much I need to consider? Okay, what n value should I consider? How many components are significant? Okay, that will decide the effective bandwidth of the FM signal. Therefore, the theoretical bandwidth is infinity, but the practical bandwidth will be more reasonable, but still higher than your AM, no doubt in that, but it is reasonable. Okay, it will be some practical value which will depend on the value of beta. Therefore, here the bandwidth of your FM signal depends on the beta, but in the case of AM, it does not depends on the mu, okay, your modulation index. bandwidth is fixed here in the case of AM system. But in FM, the bandwidth depends on the value of the beta. Okay, which is incidentally I have not yet defined here beta. I have defined beta is equal to modulation index here also. Okay, it is also called a modulation index. And this modulation index we defined for both AM signal, both FM and PM, I think in the previous lecture. Therefore, the spectral properties of the signal were depend on the modulation index beta, but in the case of AM it is not. Okay, so let me stop at this point. The next lecture we will continue from this point.